Hey folks, Marcus here with My Physio Mentor, physical therapist and pre-PT mentor and coach. I'm here to talk about how to even study in physical therapy school. Well, you need to study, bottom line, the way that fits you best. And what I mean is some people really intently listen to lecture and then go home, do some readings, and they're ready for the test. Others make tons and tons of flashcards. And when I'm talking about tons, I mean hundreds, maybe even thousands of flashcards throughout the 3 years of physical therapy school to practice for exams and the board exam. Other people like to record lectures. Others like to take notes and then reinvent their notes. There's so many different ways to do it, but you need to take time to experiment and figure out what is going to be the best method for you long term. But the other thing that I think people don't quite think about is once they identify a study method, they stick with it, even if it isn't quite working for one class or one piece of material that they're struggling with. One of my biggest advantages in PT school is that I was really open to learning how other people studied. And so for some subjects, I would study completely differently. For example, I despise flashcards. I don't like buying them. I don't like making them. I don't like carrying them around with me and rubber banding them and then pinching my fingers. I don't like the paper cuts. I don't like going through. I don't like watching people do flashcards. But when it came to pharmacology for physical therapy, flashcards were the big win. I did horrible on my first pharmacology exam. So did the rest of my class. But I did even worse than everybody else. What I was doing was creating these big papers of study guides where I just had these Word documents of everything highlighted out, definitions, indications for physical therapy if someone was on a medication or contraindications, these different things I had to consider, and I was just flipping through this big booklet. It took so much time to read these little lines when really all I needed to do was write the drug name, the scientific name, and then the common brand name on one side of the card. And then on the other side, I basically needed to say what it did, how it did it, and as a physical therapist, what that meant to me, how I would consider changing my approach or modifying my interventions if one of my patients is on one of these medications. Because I have those flashcards now as an acute physical therapist, I still go back and look at them from time to time. But all I did was change my approach from what I typically did was listening intently and building big study guides from my memory to flashcards, and my grades took a 180. I did so much better just going through my flashcards every morning and then at lunch and then adding new ones after class in the afternoon. And then basically supplementing that with reading some parts of the book to get more context. But I knew at least what to think about and what answers were incorrect because I could visualize that flashcard and I had that repetition and I drew those memories, the knowledge from the flashcards a lot quicker, because when you do flashcards with repetition, that timing component increases or decreases your recall time and increases the amount of information that you can call upon during an exam. So definitely want to think about changing your approach from time to time in PT school, depending on what the content is or what the problems are. Ask your professors, ask your students. Sometimes people like to draw things out. Start early by trying to draw or write out or make flashcards so that you know what does or what does not work for you, and then change that approach over time. All that being said, I hope that as you get through PT school and you refine your methods of studying, that the overall time of studying also decreases. I found that once I got these approaches down in my second year, I really studied about half the time, maybe even a third of the time, and I still got good grades, even better grades than I did when I first started PT school. So it is possible to shrink that time span if you really focus on consuming information in a way that works best for you. That's how to study in physical therapy school. If you want to learn more about getting into PT school as a pre-physical therapy student, check out myphysiomentor.com and check us out on our Instagram at myphysiomentor. I hope you're enjoying these videos. Click that subscribe button if you please. Catch you next time.